on SuperTalk Hattiesburg and SuperTalk Laurel. Knocking it back in the Pine Belt in the middle of July, actually toward the end of July. Luke, it's been a few minutes. What's up?
Hey, guys. Happy July to you. Yeah, just in the middle of SunBelt Media Days down in New Orleans. I'm not there. We've just been following it about what's going on day one, Southern Miss, tomorrow. So, cool new league the Golden Eagles are in. We've been kind of for the last couple of weeks talking to people from each institution in the SunBelt, trying to get to know their school a little better. It's been fun.
Yeah, I would think a really fun exercise to go through. And we talked about it some yesterday, Luke, kind of looking at the preseason coaches' projections. I guess you had 14 coaches voting on, who would win the East, who would win the West, who would win the overall. Southern Miss picked, fifth in the West? Is that a reasonable spot to pick them in year one of a new league?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of looked at, where Old Dominion and Marshall finished also. And, yeah, I mean, if you look what the SunBelt's done against Conference USA the last 3 or 4 years, it's been all SunBelt. So I think Will Hall said, a couple of weeks ago, they think our offense isn't that good. Why would they think anything else? I was a little surprised that South Alabama was picked over Troy. Troy's beaten them the last 4 seasons. But Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina picked to finish 1-2 in the East, and that's just going to be some fun teams to watch across this conference.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. So I asked both Michael and Haydad yesterday. I'm sorry, I just called Michael by his first name, Borky.
That doesn't happen often.
I was like, who am I talking about?
That happens when I'm in trouble or the boss walks by.
Hello, Michael. Yeah. So I said, if I told you that Southern Miss does not finish fifth in the West, would you pick them finishing higher or lower? And both of these guys immediately said higher. I mean, with zero hesitation. I'll ask you the same question. Higher or lower if fifth is not the right spot?
I would pick them higher. I look for them to win at least 6 games, and I think that gets you to 4 in this league. So when you're looking at, the West, obviously you got Louisiana. That's who I would put up top. And it is Troy, has kind of been the number 2 team in South Alabama. So Southern Miss hasn't beat those teams, the last few years. So I would probably put them at 4th. It wouldn't be much higher, but it would be at 4th.
Yeah, and interestingly, those now conference opponents, but teams that they have played on the regular in recent years. So if they get to 6, to your point, 6-6, and I think we saw the news today that the SunBelt Conference is in the final negotiating stages of a 6th official tie-in with the conference. If Southern Miss goes 6-6 and gets to a bowl game, was this a successful season?
I think so. I think that's kind of what the expectations are. Set way too high last year, and so I think everybody knows that if you go 500 and get to a bowl game this year, and then you look to really make some noise in 2023, that's kind of what Will Hall said since last season ended, and especially after what they did in the transfer portal. You're just better at every position. I mean, some of the guys that transferred out, you actually, did better in the portal with who came in. So, again, we're going to talk about it a million times. It's going to be dependent on the quarterback play. But you feel like the defense is better, as good as they were. I don't know if you guys saw this, but tough blow this week. Hayes Maples, who was the leading tackler 2 years ago and been a crucial part of the linebacker core, he's out for the season with an ACL tear, and that hurts. They're pretty.
Hold on now. No. We're not doing this injury thing all over again. All right, yeah. Just stop with the injuries. We're going to set those aside. We're just going to play a football season healthy this year. They earned it. Yeah,
it's tough, and he's a local kid, Oak Grove kid, so that's a big loss. But up front, the defensive line is probably the strongest point of this team. Brendan Lacey told us on the Eagle Hour. He's the defensive line coach. He's got 7 or 8 guys. It doesn't matter who's out there. He feels confident in them. So that's where they're going to – you feel like the offense will take a step forward, but the defense will be better than they were last year.
All right, so defensive line is the strength on that side of the ball. Does that mean run stopping or quarterback pressure primarily?
It's got to be quarterback pressure for the simple reason that Austin Armstrong loves to bring pressure. He is super aggressive, old school, just bring the house. And so if they aren't, able to get from the blitz level to the quarterback, they want to be able to drop, obviously, and win with 4 down or 3 down. They haven't been able to do that. They didn't do that last year. They didn't do that in 2020. They just haven't had the pressure that they've been able to do up front. So, yeah, losing Maples will stop at the linebacker position. Will stop some of the run stop ability, but they got some athletes behind them. But I'm telling you, some of these, you guys know some of the guys that transferred in, but you're looking at like Jalen Williams came in from Arkansas, and then a couple guys from Jones. They're going to be really good up front.
I want to play the game with you that everybody plays at some level. They pull the schedule out with their pencil, and they go down and they go win, loss, win, loss, win. Yeah, that game. Let's do that with Southern Miss's schedule. Season opener against Liberty, Saturday night, September 3rd. New quarterback for Liberty, so they're probably going to look a little bit different than they did a year ago. Win or loss?
Win.
At Miami in week 2.
Loss.
Northwestern State at home.
Win.
At Tulane.
Win.
So that's a 3-1 start going into conference play. So now you're into SunBelt play. At Troy.
Loss.
3-2. Arkansas State at home.
Win.
Texas State in San Marcos.
This is a toss-up. You don't know. Texas State has not been very good. In my mind, it's just a push. I'm not sure. Well, we will give it, for the sake of positivity, we will give it a win.
All right, so that's 5 wins. Ragin' Cajuns in Hattiesburg on Thursday, October 27th. Night game in the Berg.
Close loss.
Okay. Georgia State in Hattiesburg on November 5th.
We'll do loss.
Okay. At Coastal Carolina.
Loss.
South Alabama.
They'll win this one.
Oh. And then at ULM to close it out.
Does that give them the 7 if they win this game?
If they win against ULM, that's 7-5.
Yeah, so you could look at Texas State or South Alabama as being one where probably the South Alabama game will be a loss. I just don't see them losing 4 in a row late like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you why you kind of quickly said win against South Alabama. That's just kind of a gut hope, or is there something you see there that makes you think that?
Southern Miss has lost to South Alabama in every sport, including e-gaming, in the last 3 years. I mean, the baseball finally got them this spring, so you got to feel like eventually it's your turn to win.
So baseball threw the Jaguar off the back, the Jaguar that e-gaming couldn't fix?
Couldn't do it.
What was the e-gaming?
Just Southern Miss won some national championship in e-gaming, and we joked. We found that out. We joked that they had actually lost to South Alabama somewhere along the way.
Do you know what game they play?
Hey, Dad could probably inform you more than I could on that.
Hey, Dad, what would be the game of choice for the e-gaming?
Just a guess would be League of Legends.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, but I didn't want to steal the glory from you.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking.
Yeah. So it's not like a deal where they sit down at the Pac-Man console where you've got one seat. You remember like the one they used to have in Pizza Den where you had the seats on either side?
Yeah, you put your pizza on the flat top and then play 1942 or Pac-Man.
Yep. Yeah. Good times. Michael Borky has no idea what we are talking about right now.
I mean, I do. That's just, before I was born.
You think? I would agree. Do we officially know when camp begins for Southern Miss? Are we looking at August 4th, 5th, somewhere in there?
I could not give you a date off the top of my head. But,
okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I was going to mention real quick. I know we're up against the break. They announced a new media rights deal with ESPN today. It goes through 2031. 50% more of games to appear on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU. That's big for the SunBelt, big for Southern Miss. Southern Miss fans will be able to go to ESPN platforms exclusively to watch the Golden Eagles.
That'll certainly make it easy. We're going to get into that story a little bit more coming up later this afternoon. Luke, good to visit with you.